Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV in the new edition of our online interview update series. Today, we want to talk to Mawson Gold and Ivan Fairhall. The CEO is here with us. Good morning to London, Ivan. How are you?
Good morning, Jochen. Very well, thank you.
Yeah, I can imagine that you are doing extremely good because you reported on the 30th May. Actually, I should say your subsidiary reported Southern Cross. You drilled 119 meters of almost 4 grams gold equivalent per ton at Sunday Creek in Victoria, in Australia. That's a fantastic hole, isn't it?
It truly is a spectacular intersection and a great mark of quality of the project down there. And we've known for some time that there's been very high grades, and we were seeing ounces over half-meter type intervals, and then generally sitting in wider areas of 10 to 20 meters that were running 5 to 20 grams a ton. But what we've seen here in this hole number 33, is those high-grade sections starting to coalesce, and so to have over 100 meters at 3.9 grams a ton gold equivalent, it's a real standout in its peer group. No one else in that developer peer is seeing intersections that wide in this part of the world. So it's very exciting news indeed. Great news for shareholders, and not just Southern Cross, but also in Mawson.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the share price of Southern Cross, tripled almost, right?
Since more than tripled, nearly quadrupled.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. Are you now feeling a bit, bad that you have given away the company almost? No, not almost.
No, not at all. I mean, the spin out is what's created the value. We were able to raise capital down in Australia and actually create the exploration optionality and put a valuation on it. We've got investors down on the ASX that have really grabbed hold of this story, and that's what's really driven the share price up down there. And we're sitting back with 60% of it now worth 50 million dollars Canadian. Thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think it was a smart move, because to finance it by yourselves, probably in this market, really tough, right?
Well, it would have been dilutive to Mawson shareholders, and we've been able to raise money at a relatively good valuation down in Australia and generate a huge amount of value. So I think it was the right decision, and we're very fortunate to be in a very interesting position, controlling shareholder of this quite exciting new company down on the ASX.
But it looks to me now like, if I do the maths, I mean, your 60% portion in Southern Cross is almost the market cap of Mawson now. I mean, we are getting everything you have for free.
Yeah, it's the math. Your maths is correct. It's not a mistake. I've done the same. We're doing the same maths, and all we can say is that we think it's a huge huge optionality, a huge value upside. Those shares are escrowed until May 2024, but clearly, the market cap of our 90-odd million shares at 50 million Canadian roughly, it represents a significant chunk of value that's emerged from nowhere. And it backstops the company in a big way. And I find it quite difficult to see how this huge value creation exercise that's happened down in Australia hasn't really flowed through to Mawson share price. So I suppose all you can take from that is that it's that there's plenty of upside to potentially come into our share price, as that value is reflected in Mawson share price.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a shareholder in Mawson too, so I really don't understand it, really, because you have fantastic projects in Finland, in Sweden. So let's dive into that a bit. What's going on in Finland? I mean, you are moving forward the project, right, with PEA and stuff like this, also permitting, I think. Can you give us a bit of an update?
Yeah, sure. It's easy to sort of look at Southern Cross, which is the new hot thing, and it is a huge sort of part, I think, of the opportunity in Mawson. But let's not forget, we've got over 1 million ounces in resources, declared resources, certified resources up there in Finland, and that project is moving forward. We're doing a PEA and wrapping economics around the project for the first time, and I hope that it shows really what an attractive and credible standalone project we have, that investors will be able to ascribe an NPV to. So we're also moving that forward with environmental baselining, permitting work, land use zoning. So I think it's important to remember there's quite a lot of forward momentum in Mawson in its main asset up there in Finland, and with the PEA coming out this year, a whole new lens to look at that project.
So the PEA this year already, so you might have a nice Christmas present for us.
I hope so. No, we should well and truly have it out before
That
Christmas.
would be great. Absolutely. Where do you see, or let's put it that way, as we are still talking about Finland, where do you see further exploration potential? Because 1.2 million ounces resource, that is nice to have. But as we both know, let's say sometimes the mid-size to also large caps, they want to see much, much more. But I would say to make it a mine, probably it should go over 2 million, right?
Well, yeah, look, mines are a function of the economics and the cost of the capital and the kind of returns that you can generate. But look, a lot of investors and a lot of corporates obviously like scale, and it's important. And we do have quite a lot of exploration optionality in Finland as well as across our portfolio. So at Rajapalot, we've got down dip extensions. The resource bodies that go into that 1 million ounces, they're all open down dip. We've got some very good open mineralization, 30 odd meters at 5 grams a ton. So the idea that it extends at depth is certainly something that I think is quite well understood and quite a credible area for us to add ounces. We've also got a very large land package. We've got 18,000 hectares up there. It's mostly undrilled. We focused on a couple of small areas and we found 1 million ounces. And we also found on the other side of the property 6 meters at 617 grams a ton. So 2 quite significant mineralization events. And really the question we're asking ourselves is what about the rest of the property? And we've got indications of gold in boulders and gold in till, and we're looking to unlock that story over time. So that's in Finland. We've also got exploration going on elsewhere, and so we put out some news release that we're drilling right now in Skellefteå. We've got outcropping gold up there. This is our project in Sweden. The project in the shadow of a head frame. There's 6 million ounces has been extracted from within 20 odd kilometers of that mine, and this is the first time the project's ever been drilled outcropping gold, and we're expecting assays shortly.
So we can also expect then shortly news releases on that.
Yep. The assays are in the lab, and we're just awaiting the results.
Okay, super. Coming back to Australia, I mean, as we know, a discovery hole is fantastic. Your results so far were fantastic. But how do you see, let's say, the future exploration potential here? What is planned there also? Because I think you only drilled a very small area so far at Sunday Creek, right?
Exactly. So through the spin out and the IPO, Southern Cross raised 11.8 million Australian dollars, and so they're quite well funded to continue to explore, and they focused on a relatively small area, as you say, at Sunday Creek, and they're getting those spectacular results, and they will follow up on them. And I think they're looking at potentially bringing in another drill rig to try to bring some of those results forward. But that is some information in our corporate presentation. That area is really only a small part of a 10-kilometer mineralized trend on that project, and there's also 2 other projects in that company. So the way I see it is, Mawson's taken its dilution here. We've got that company's well funded, lots of exploration news releases, news results to come from them, and more discovery potential in what is clearly one of the hottest stories in town on the ASX.
Absolutely. Super. Well, and you are a hot story for Finland and Sweden in addition, and way too cheap. Thank you very much, Ivan, for that update. And I would say we talk quite soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Ivan Fairhall, the CEO of Mawson Gold, and you heard it, spectacular discovery holes and also very good drill results from there. In 60% interest in Southern Cross Gold here in Australia. And to be honest, Mawson is way too cheap because the entire 60% stake in Southern Cross is the whole market cap of Mawson already. So you get Finland, you get a 1.2 million ounce gold resource for free, and also the upside potential in Sweden the company has. I think the stock is a no-brainer, way too cheap, and it shows us that sometimes the stock exchange can be very, very inefficient in realizing real values. But that's the chance for us who are looking deep into the companies, and I'm a shareholder in Mawson Gold for sure. And I would suggest you really have a close look onto this great exploration company. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Switzerland.